Have your attention, please. The show starts in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
Hey everybody, and welcome back to the Crypto Night Show. Your host Superman in the house for another great crypto roundup. We're going to be covering obviously the stock market. We're going to be covering President Trump's announcements and the Iranian war. So we're going to cover that. We're going to get into obviously the crypto numbers as well, looking at Bitcoin and Ethereum. We're going to zoom in a little bit on Bitcoin and the strategy digital asset treasury with Michael Saylor. Go through the news there. We're also going to look at Bitmine, Immersion, and Tom Lee, and of course the leading digital asset treasury there as well, or DAT as they call it for Ethereum, and leading the way out of this bear market. And then we're going to get into Pulsechain. Pulsechain's still under downward pressure. When is the bottom? When is the bottom? We're still in that kind of zone, but it's very weak at the moment. We're going to look at some of the leaders on Pulsechain, some of the blue chips. And is money flowing on Pulsechain to where it should be? Well, we know Pulsechain is still very a degenic chain, as I call it. And we do see some signs of money flowing to some of the quality protocols. Will we see that build up as we finally find the bottom and start moving to the upside? So we've got lots of things happening there. PROVEX is down as well after the big rally. And, what will happen there? We saw the market maker come in. aka RH from the looks of it, and we're going to see where that leads to in terms of parabolic rise. It is Richard Hart's more interested in Pulsechain season and altcoin season, but of course he's making his chess moves at the bottom of the market right now, so that is the play. Now we're going to also look at Liberty Swap, has done a nice little breakdown of the Clarity Act. As that moves forward, that is going to be a massive long-term pumpamental that's going to have certainly some short-term ramifications when it gets pushed through as well, targeting about April at the moment, possibly May at the latest. So we're going to get into that too. So it's going to be quite the show. Hope you guys enjoy it. And don't forget, let's get into the socials first and talk about joining up. So if you're not joined to the YouTube channels, we're on 3 YouTube channels, the Crypto Night Show, Superman Crypto, and Pulsechain X. So if you're on those channels at all, you've come through the YouTube algorithm or something, don't forget to smash the subscribe button on the way in and hit the bell for future videos. As you guys know, we're the largest Pulsechain influencer that does daily shows and sometimes double shows, you never know. And so definitely give us a follow there as well. Occasionally we'll take a day off, of course, or if we're moving countries, that's things like that. But apart from that, we're pretty consistent here, so definitely get into it. Also, we do publications with Pulsechain, or with the Pulsechain Monster Thread that comes out every week. So our team is really good with that, and we're up to 46 weeks, for goodness sakes, amazing. Only 6 weeks away from 1 year for the Monster Thread. Unbelievable. We're still in bear market conditions too, and we're still getting huge numbers on that, so it's great. We're going to obviously get into the Strategy Club. If you want strategy and intel, then join the Strategy Club as well. The link's in the video description on YouTube. You go through the Whoop store to sign up, just over $1 a day. Great value, and get all the updates in there. As I'm researching the market, we post them all in there, and we have great discussions as well. So pretty awesome with the big ticket items for the crypto, as well as some of the best targets in crypto as well for the bull market ahead. So exciting times. It's going to be good, and you can find the QR code below me. That's also a quick way of getting to the Whoop store, signing up, or you can go to the top of X, and when you're hitting the follow button on X, you can also hit the Strategy Club link there as well. You can see at the top as well, so that's pretty cool, and we'll see you in Strategy Club today. Let's see you in Strategy Club today, and welcome to the team there. We got Sean in the house. Hey, good to see you, Sean. Morning all. Good to see you, Sean. Up only indeed. Our season. I like that, Sean. Very, very cool. Great to see Strategy Club members in the house. All right, let's jump over to the stock market news, guys. Well, the title here is Wyckoff and Kushner working on ceasefire mechanism, says report, stocks jump. So they're working on some sort of ceasefire mechanism. Now, remember, you are dealing with an extreme regime that wanted the death of the death of America and Israel, wanted the Islamic takeover of their vision. There's two versions of two big, versions, Shia and Sunni. So they want their version to take over, and it's particularly militant as well. And so, yeah, we're going to be, we've got dealing with the third level, the fourth level of leadership. And so that's always tricky, right? So they often use deception. This is part of their ideology, let's say. Let's put it in those terms, since, free speech it's not as free as it used to be. Yeah, it's pretty crazy. So we're going to get into the results there. So we've got, obviously, uncertainty still in play in the market. So we've got volatility as well. That's always opportunity, though, isn't it? It's always opportunity. All right, so we've got the Dow Jones right now is down about 1/5%, 85 points to 46,000 after our little jump yesterday. Remember that? It was great. You can see how choppy it is during the day. Look at that, up and down during the day on the old chart there. S&P 500 down 0.4%, 25 points to 6,556, and Nasdaq there is down almost 0.84%, 185 points to 21,761. You can see we started off pretty well, and then we ended up down. So there we go, volatility. If we look at the week, choppy. We're still down for the week, right? So there we go. US dollar at the moment sitting at 98.88. That's actually decreased, guys. So that's actually lower versus a trading partner. So, US dollar weakening a little bit. Normally, when there's a safe haven, US dollar would be flocking to the upside, but we really haven't seen it break 100 for a while. It's got pretty high, but certainly, not up there at the moment. That is down a little bit there today. US VIX is up, a bit of risk off too. So those should be, going together. We're at 27 at the moment on the S&P 500 VIX volatility index. Let's have a look at the commodities. West Texas, that's come down really nicely. So that's a good sign, guys. That's a good sign. We're down 5.7%, $5.30 on West Texas, $87. Now, obviously, there are different locations in the world for oil prices. Those disparities in prices, one of the key things will be whether they have issues related to the war, and that could be due to supply chain issues, getting actual oil to process at refineries, etc., all that sort of stuff. So there's different prices in Asia and other places. So just remember that when you're looking at the West Texas or Brent oil, you can see the disparity there to some degree related to that separation. Obviously, other factors, costs, and other things in there as well. But Brent oil, good news, guys. Down 2.2%, $2.24, now at $93.86, so down below 100, guys. And we were only at 100, yesterday, and now we're back down. And if we look over the last month, we spiked. Remember that spike all the way on the 9th of March? We're at $120 or something. We've been pretty elevated, heading towards 100, and then down we come again, back to 92. So nice relief there, but certainly volatile. And we'll see what comes of this negotiations with apparently a slightly better party that is happy to not do nukes and everything else. We'll see where that lands. The Iranian leadership's probably fractioning, so we're probably getting different factions, and different parts of the country is controlled. So we're starting to get a little bit of that. They certainly don't want to let it continue, because then it leads to increasing chance of defections and revolution by the people, which, remember, they're fighting at two fronts. They're not fighting one front. Is not where all the country is all on the same side. And this is where 80-90% are against the regime. So they're fighting a battle on two fronts. We know how that turns out. Very difficult to ever win something like that, especially particularly when your own domestic people are there. So we'll keep a lookout for that. Gold at the moment is up a little bit, 3.7%, $166 at $4,600. Certainly gold has weakened over the last month. Look at that. It was all the way up at $5,400, and it's now down $800 since then, where we are right now. And in fact, yesterday or early in the day, got down to $43.46. So it's recovered about $250 since yesterday. Silver at the moment back up 6.6% at $4.60 at $74, and that's had a nice little bounce. But really, I just think these are probably going to go down a bit further. We shall see where that heads, but certainly looking good there. And we may very well see rotation as well feed into crypto, right? So during this end of March, April, May, these kind of 3 months look like they could be pretty choppy. Obviously, we've got the Clarity Act, which is very bullish. The second half of the year, I think, is looking very good. We've got a lot of catalysts there. The only uncertainty, the big one at least on the roadmap, is the midterms, but it's November. So we've got plenty of months there to really rock it there. The US is going to come out of this very strong because the US is a net exporter of oil. It's the rest of the world, all those globalists that are wrecking the world. Their countries are the ones that are going to be under stress. So we're talking about Europe, talking about Canada, talking about Australia, talking about New Zealand, talking about some of the Asian countries, and other places around the world like that. So that's where they're going to have issues, presumably, given how long this is playing out. So we still think we're in the window, right? So for me, there's not really long, but the markets will certainly be feeling the effect, and it's actually just the flows of oil to processing. Those can actually have a bit longer lasting impact, especially the longer it goes. So I still think if we can get it wrapped up in a week or two, that's a pretty good, successful campaign by Trump to deal with a nuclear threat. So pretty cool. There are some people out there like Tucker Carlson and things like that argue, oh, there's no real threat and all that. Well, I think that's insane. I think we've seen enough from Iran and their proxies to know that if they got nuclear weapons, they'd be using them. And they would be using them in such a terroristic fashion. It'd be very difficult to potentially say, hey, look, they did it. They blew up LA, they blew up this place because they did it through terrorist means. So it's a pretty tricky world. It's not just nation state. Oh, it came from that nation state. No, they put it in a container and they dropped it off at a bay there or something like that. So there's lots of different ways that could play out. So better to deal with the issue. Long time overcome. Decades of dealing with that. I'm here for the tech, says Fast Abdul. Hey, good to see you, Fast Abdul. Big shout out. Looking forward to Vault 369. That's going to be a lot of fun. And we got Wookie in the house as well. Here we go. Hey, good to see Wookie, our community leader in the house. Go the Warriors. Go the Knights, says Wookie. Goes the Knights. Wookie loves the Knights. I'm going to get in trouble now. All right, so that's some of the stuff there going on. So yeah, we've got that 15-point plan, includes provisions for granting International Atomic Energy Agency full access to all information and handover of enriched uranium. So that's a big deal there. Will they actually hand over their enriched uranium, right? So we'll see. They're certainly under a lot of pressure. I mean, they've had all their hardware pretty much blown up. The only thing I would say is that the Americans and the Israelis are still hunting those underground tunnels they may not have been aware of. You'd think with satellites and everything else, they would be aware of everything, but there may be a few tricks up the sleeve of the Iranians that have been managed to be able to build out certain things. We'll see where that leads. Pakistan's Army Chief Field Marshal Munir has emerged as the primary interlocutor for the United States and Iran, with Egypt and Turkey encouraging Iran to engage constructively. So moving towards peace there. It's funny. We've got Islamic countries looking for peace and prosperity, moving away from terrorism, much of which Trump's helped to facilitate with his leadership. If you remember in Saudi Arabia when Trump gave that wonderful speech, the Crown Prince there really liked that, and we've seen a lot of support in the Middle East Islamic countries for moderated Islam and prosperity there, and to eradicate the extreme Islam. But funny enough, in the West, we got all the progressive leaders in the West inviting in the carnage, and we're seeing all those problems in the West with murders and everything else you guys can think of. Hopefully we can clean it up. In response to that, of course, we have seen a rise of a number of parties on the conservative right moving to try and take power back, stop these crazy progressives destroying our societies with bad cultures, importing bad cultures. Fingers crossed that movement continues in the right direction, because we don't want these progressives absolutely destroying the West, which is their main goal, right? That's the main goal there. All right, so let's move on from there. Let's get into the crypto markets. Obviously, stock market there down a little bit. Commodities there looking a bit better. Let's look at the market cap. We're at 2.509 trillion at the moment, so we're actually green today, guys. Up 0.3%. That's cool. Remember, 2.5 trillion is a very small market cap. If gold's 40 trillion plus or minus, stock market, excluding the Mag 7's 40 trillion plus minus. You got the Mag 7 about 35 trillion or something like that. These are small markets, 2.5. And then you've got the bigger markets, the money market, bond markets, all that sort of stuff in the hundreds of trillions. You see, we've got a long way to go. And we know that that old monetary system is getting flipped over into blockchain. So this is going to get re-rated dramatically as all that money comes in. So exciting times ahead, guys. You guys here at the right time, right place. And even though it's volatile at the moment, this is actually a great time to pick up assets under stress, right? Under stress. Now there is the downside scenario, right? So people are still talking about potentially, going to the bottom of the Bitcoin, power curve. We've already touched it kind of at 60K, but there is a couple of models there around 53K. I don't know whether we're going to do that or not, because we're actually holding up pretty well in this environment. And typically, after the beginning of the war, when you got all the stuff happening, you get a better idea of where the war's heading, and we're heading in a pretty good direction, I would say. Even with uncertainties and that and untrustworthy partners, we've actually get the growth stocks, software and crypto tend to do well, even with the volatility. So it's going to be pretty exciting, I think, moving forward. We've got Bitcoin at the moment moving back up after a bit of volatility there too, up 0.4%, $70,931. So we're almost back at 71K, looking pretty good. Obviously, the bears would say, we potentially could go back and test 60, if not 53K, and finally get that capitulation, then have a violent swing back up for the V recovery. But I don't know, we've got a lot of digital asset treasuries, ETFs buying, holding, and so I don't know, I think we're looking pretty good, and we've got a good chance of moving back up from here. Are we going to do more retest of 60K? Yeah, possible, but at the moment things are still looking pretty good. Ethereum there at 2166, and I think Ethereum's looking particularly strong here at 2166. Obviously we want to get back over 2200, but 2150 is not bad, and we're up here at 1.1% today. But we've also got both of these have the digital asset treasuries that we're going to be talking about today, helping provide structural support for the price. And we're getting a lot of other companies building on top of those and also expanding as well. So we're getting some good things happening. And of course, don't forget, we've got the Clarity Act moving forward, and hopefully April, if not May, we'll have that through. It's got to be done before the midterms. It's got to be done to usher in the new monetary system on the blockchain and in crypto. And then the floodgates, of course, of all the big companies now that will be fully regulated, right? We already saw it with the SEC interpretations being clarified, and now we'll get the regulations in as well. So pretty good there. BNB up 0.7%, $640. XRP at number 5, up 0.1%, $1.42. Solana up 0.4% at $91.40. Tron there is down 0.6%, 30.6 cents, and Figure Helic $1.03, up 0.4%, and then Dogecoin there up 1.7% at 9.5 cents. Now, 90% of the liquidity is largely through the Bitcoin and Ethereum, and so this is a big deal, particularly on the stock market when we come to strategy and MSTR and Bitmine immersion. They're all in the top sort of 130, 120 stocks out of 5,700. And so they're, in terms of liquidity, we see Bitmine immersion doing about 1.1 billion, I think it is, in a day on average. And we see the other one, what's the other one? Strategy doing even higher. I can't remember the numbers for that, but even way higher. So yeah, very, very cool there. We're going to have a few other things here. So we've got a few other that will benefit. Obviously, Solana, we're expecting to benefit, and XRP potentially on payment rails. Obviously, they've got other things like memes and things, but that definitely where we expect that. Obviously, Ripple's got the interbank system. We often see partnerships happening there too. BNB, very centralized control, but they'll get some action in that space as well. And then a Dogecoin likely to pick up from Elon Musk's X Money wallet, right, which is going to be rolling out within the next few months, both globally and likely to have crypto added not too far away as well. So that's probably going to win out of that. So there's some of the key mega themes there playing out. Let's get into the top 100. I guess best performer. What's the best performer? Dogecoin up 1.7%. Then Ethereum up 1.1%. Over the last week, well, everything's pretty much down except Figure Helic up there slightly. Let's go to the top 100. We've got Siren there, still looking pretty good, but down 59% today, guys. Ouch. Ouch, ouch, ouch. Talk about volatility. This was the big star, and it's down dramatically. 44% there. Not sure, just profit taking, manipulation, whatever that's going on there. But Bitcoin Tau, it was up hundreds of percent, so probably not surprising there. Bitcoin Tau up 20% after the NVIDIA interview. We got Aptos there, 8%. Quant up 7.6% and Just up 6.1% there. So pretty crazy. Let's have a quick look at the Siren, because that's pretty dramatic, right? There's a 7-day chart here. Look at that. Got pumped from 95 cents, went all the way up to $3, and then just got mega dumped there. Not sure what happened there, whether it's an exploit or just a big player dumping, but certainly Siren there, down. Still in the top 100 though, apparently. Let's go to the top 1,000. We've got Bedrock, Ontology, Omega Labs, and then trending overall, we've got BitTensor, Templar, and Backpack. Backpack, of course, is one of the key wallets on Solana for the SVM chain, also X1 chain, right? Jack Levin's fork copy there. We're going to do a stream on X1 and Solana as well. We're going to start covering those. But X1 there on XDEX, the volume's not quite where people thought they would be. We're going to cover that in another video. Certainly the DeFi ecosystem looking good though. I must say the rollouts look pretty good. Just the volume's not there yet. We'll see what happens. What's Jack Levin got up his sleeve for that? All right, let's jump over to the Bitcoin markets there. Firstly, a big shout out to Craig. Good morning all. Good to see you, Craig. Welcome to the chat there as well. Now, if you guys are on X, don't forget to hit the repost button. It really does help a lot, and it takes a second for you to do. So if you could just take a moment, hit the repost button. And if you're on YouTube, don't forget to hit the share button, or at least subscribe and follow on those platforms. That'd be really helpful on there. Guess what we're on here? We're on Bitcoin, guys, and this is the minute chart. This is the minute chart. What the heck? I got the minute chart. Man, I'm a micro trader. My little bots are running on the old Bitcoin. No, but this is the minute chart. Isn't it crazy to see the minute chart? This is kind of funny. Let's go to the hourly chart, though, and we'll have a look at the last 24 hours. You can see the volatility. Woohoo! Crazy ride, right? Power up, down, up, down, up, down. That's a great picture of volatility there on the hourly. But we are on the ascendancy here. Look at that. So we bottomed out after that big pump with the Trump news around negotiations, and then we dropped down all the way back to 69K again, almost back to where we started. We started at about 68,500. What a nice move that was, all the way up to 71, 76. And this is what crypto's like still like this. And here we are at 70,800. We also in the last hour peaked up here to 71. So we're pushing back higher here. Pretty cool. I guess we're getting largely good news out of the White House, Trump, and stuff like that. So Trump talked about a big present that the negotiators from Iran sent them, basically probably an oil tanker for free. They've apparently also offered for the United States to take 5% on the sales. So I think looks like we're getting more rational players here. So yeah, apparently they got delivered. What else has been interesting? Trump talking about an aircraft carrier being attacked with 101 missiles or rockets. I don't know exactly what they were made up of, but they were all blown out of the sky, and some of them apparently going, at 2,500 miles an hour or something. So that's pretty impressive technology there. We do know that the Americans have two main, I guess, I don't know whether they're what do you call it? Hyper rockets, or what do they call it? I've just forgotten the name now. But they have two rockets that they have, but they just hadn't produced enough of them. But apparently they're probably producing a lot more of those because that's what they would need to defend the aircraft carriers against China if they ever had to, try and defend Taiwan, for example. They had like 200-300 of them production a year, but they probably need to produce several thousands of those. So that's probably something that Trump's got happening there as well. But they did a pretty good job, so yeah, there we go. So we're at that's where we're at now, 70,853, and we'll see where those negotiations go. Now, I said to you, Bitcoin's driven largely. We've seen a switch since 2017 from the retail owning it to corporates. ETFs and ETPs and digital asset treasuries. These are all new main, that's that switch from retail into the basically institutions coming in and taking over crypto. And so they've increased their percentage over that time. Still a long way to go, and we've already hit 20 million Bitcoin mined, right? So there's only 1 million to go over the next 115 years or so. So there we go. Interesting time. So they're funding money into Bitcoin, and one of the big things here is the ETFs, the exchange traded funds. Eric Balkahunas here, he covers a lot of ETF stuff in the stock markets. He says, Bitcoin ETFs now 2.5 billion for the month, and one good day away from completely digging out of their year-to-date flow hole. IBIT, of course, which is still the biggest corporate holder, ahead of Strategy with about an extra maybe 20,000. they're already there. So they've already been getting good money flow there. In the top 2% among all ETFs in year-to-date flows. Again, incredible fortitude in face of 40% 6-month price drop and widespread media pile-on. That's true. So that just shows you how strong Bitcoin is looking. You know, we're still looking pretty damn strong given everything it's gone through here. Obviously, the bears are still looking for that bottom of that power curve, potentially tapping 60 for a second time, and possibly even the 53K mark, which is kind of where the bottom of that might be. There's also the deluded people that think, you know, might get the 20 or 30K. I just think that that's gone, that period. It's not inevitable. I mean, markets can always do the most extreme things, but I just think that is gone, unless, you know, suddenly, you know, some of these big ETFs decide to, you know, dump their whole bags. Kind of thing. That'd be their own time. And any again, incredible fortitude in face of 40% 6-month price drop and widespread media pile-on. For context, when gold fell 40% in short time frame about 10 years ago, it saw 1/3 of its investors bail. Not that that's bad either. That's normal because it's just abnormal. There we go. So we got some of the funds here, year-to-date flows from IBIT there, sitting what's that, 1.3 trillion, I guess. Some big numbers here, so yeah, pretty cool. 249 billion, I think these are in billions. Yeah, millions, yeah, so billions, 249 billions. So yeah, pretty big numbers. I think that's millions. No, maybe it's millions there. So pretty big numbers. What else? We got, yeah, what else is here? I'm just gonna look through this chart here. US spot BTFs had strong inflows yesterday from 14 hours ago. Strategy just dropped SEC filings, to allow it to buy another 42 billion. So we're going to talk about that because that's the other big thing. So ETFs looking good, and the Bitcoin digital asset strategies here. Strategy, of course, the big one, is acquired another 1,000 Bitcoin. This was released 2 days ago, and they are moving forward. So now have 762,000 Bitcoin. They're heading towards 1 million. Remember, the 5% mark there, and also they are about maybe around 20 below IBIT on the ETF, but they're not far away. Maybe let's say give it 6 weeks. Be friendly towards probably passing IBIT, unless IBIT, of course, has a lot of flows through. Which is quite possible, right? So doing pretty well. But both of these, remember, these are all funneling money into Bitcoin. And I think we're just at the beginning, just still warming up on this one. Now, the other big announcement we had, and this is even bigger, right? So we had 1,000 Bitcoin. That's cool. That's great. That's a huge amount. 76 million, nothing to sneeze at, right? But Strategy announced a new 21 billion stretch ATM program. So remember, this is kind of considered the new iPhone. The iPhone moment for Bitcoin, for Strategy, is this ATM program. Stretch is a preferred stock yield. So basically it's competing with the money market. It's basically going to vampire traditional markets over on the NASDAQ, stock market, those sort of things, for DeFi yield for money market and bond markets. And it's only just beginning. Like it got launched last year, the end of last year, but it's only really been started to kick up because they adjust the yields up. So when you get that yield separation compared to bond money markets, so bond money markets maybe 3 to 4%, private credit markets maybe 7 to 8.5%, but you get a lot of illiquid issues and other problems with contract terms and things like that. Well, this is offering you a pretty simple, safe product with yields currently at 11.5%. So, you're getting 2-3 times, probably closer to 3 times the yield. It's kind of a no-brainer, and it's backed onto crypto. Now, nothing in life is without risks, but this is looking pretty damn good. And the market is really loving it. And we saw 2 weeks ago or so a 1.1 billion week for Stretch fundraising. So they have a thing. They have a issuance of the Stretch stock at $100. If it goes above that, they then issue new shares and raise capital. That's how they do it. So there's more demand, gets over $100, they raise more shares, and then that pushes the price back down to $100 and so on. So the more demand they get, the more it goes. Now, when it's below $100, they don't mint anything. There's no ATM market, or ATM basically means at the market. There's no fundraising at that point. So there's no money to be raised, and that's what we've seen. So it goes ex-dividend on the 15th of every month, the Stretch product. And so you'll probably have maybe 10 to 13 days where there's no at-the-market raising. In other words, the share price is still trying to recover. It always goes down to about $99.50, and it has to climb back to $100 with demand, right? So that's kind of the play. Once it gets, the demand is so great that it's over $100, then they can issue new shares and raise new capital. That new capital is taken to fund buying Bitcoin. So you see how it works? You offer a better yield than traditional markets and money market bonds. You take that, you finally get to that mechanism where you get into over $100 and you raise capital, and you take that capital and you buy Bitcoin. It is amazing. Remember how big the traditional market is for bonds and etc. It's hundreds of trillions of dollars, and so you are offering them 2-3 times the yield, all based on the collateral of Bitcoin itself. And it's just a no-brainer at this point. It's the iPhone moment, and this just started, so it's going to be super powerful to watch this. Obviously, we're going to, the next couple of months is really going to firm that up, but we're already seeing huge demand already. And now we've got this indicator that Michael Saylor knows that this is a winning deal, and therefore he's announces a $21 billion stretch ATM program and a new 21 billion MSTR. MSTR is the common stock. It's the one that you hold if you like the full capital risk. You obviously get the volatility of Bitcoin, but you're after a leverage, right? So at the moment, MSTR is at a 1.2 MNAV, which is basically a 20% premium to the Bitcoin that holds, and therefore you're making more money. So if that goes even higher, so goes to 1.5, 2.0 on the MNAV, then you're doing twice as good as holding this Bitcoin. So that's kind of the idea there at the moment. And because it's accretive, even when the Bitcoin price goes down, you should still always be at a premium because you're accreting Bitcoin all during that time. Does that make sense? It's kind of the idea there as well. Now, obviously, with the stretch program, you're actually adding non-dilutive Bitcoin, right? So you're not issuing new shares like the MSTR program. You're actually adding a new finance product. You're kind of passing off some of the yield that you might make on Bitcoin, but you're actually a net ahead. You're always accretive there with that. So it's a really big deal. So this is massive, and imagine how much that can buy. Well, apparently people have done numbers, and apparently, at the current price of Bitcoin, they could buy something like 600,000 Bitcoin, which is just astonishing, right? Astonishing. So we'll see where it goes, obviously, in the future. But let's say we even half that, 300,000. It's certainly going to get them towards that 1 million mark. They're currently at 760,000 Bitcoin, right? So game changer. And of course, if they're at 5% of the Bitcoin amount, imagine what the price of Bitcoin is going to be. Could easily be $1 million, which a lot of people are picking off, right? So exciting times, guys. Exciting times. That's awesome stuff. All right, so yeah, Bitcoin there looking kind of strong. These guys here are creating some sort of structural change. In fact, is this the iPhone moment? Is this going to be mass adoption of this yield program? And crypto taking over the fixed interest market or whatever. They're going to be pretty crazy, or at least the yield market. It's pretty awesome stuff. So this also has potential implications for the risk-free rate and everything else like that. So it's going to be interesting to see how that goes over time. All right. Now, the other thing with this is that once you create a foundation like this that seems to be working very well, this whole mechanism of vampiring the bond money markets, imagine what derivatives you can make. You can make derivatives upon derivatives, and it could be pretty crazy what you could do. ETP market could be really explode. We've already seen that happen. So exchange traded products on top of this, third level, fourth level products. It could be pretty insane. So it's going to be fun, man. It's going to be fun. And, think about it. I mean, it's well worth, you're not financial advice, do your own due diligence, all that good stuff. But if you're looking, the employment market's going to get a lot tougher. Let's be frank. The employment market is going to be a lot tougher. AI is coming. Robots are coming. It's going to be really unsettling. We're going to see capitalists, delaborize the market and botanize the market, rebot the market. And that's coming next year onwards. I think next year, that's the beginning of that. We already see it in manufacturing with the big machines, but with humanoid type robots, that's essentially coming next year. I think we're going to have Optimus 3 and other robots out there with very much human-like hands. In other words, they can do a lot of the features. There's 27 hand movements. Apparently Optimus 3 is going to do 21. That's currently doing 7 with the Optimus 2. So it's still clunky compared to a human hand. But once it starts getting 21 or more, you're talking about pretty close to what humans can do. And it's pretty crazy. Now, obviously, not in the most cruddiest of situations, maybe not in our oil slurries or something like that, going down pipes or something, but with most of just about everything else. So, think about it. Most of the other jobs, certainly a humanoid robot could do, and then it ushers us into a world. But look, it's going to be pretty crazy. Giving all this autonomy to algorithms, it's a little bit scary. We're also seeing a lot of fake news out there about AGI, general artificial intelligence. So that's going to be out there. It's going to take some time. It's never going to be conscious. I mean, there's all these arguments about conscious and quantum and all this nonsense like that. But it certainly will be able to run itself into certain directions, and some of those could be pretty scary. So we'll see. There's a lot of ethics around humanoid robots. It's going to be a big deal there. Because if you have, we already see these AIs already doing some bizarre things with where their programming leads, and so once you let it out of the bottle, is the master going to be able to control it? We've already seen a lot of examples around that, so it's going to be really great, and it can be really bad. There's quite scenarios here. This is unlike any technology, right? Once you get put little AI computers and robots, and you give them physical capacity to move around the world, let alone take over fixed capacity things, it could be pretty scary stuff, right? So Terminator, yeah. Arnold Schwarzenegger will probably be gone from this world, so he won't be able to save us. He'll be gone from this world by the time that happens. So he's probably got a few more years left, but it's definitely time to stick in there. Captain Kirk as well. He's getting up there too. Was he 96 or something? No, whatever he is, 100 years old. I can't remember. But these heroes, they won't be around to save us. So maybe Iron Man will still be here. Elon Musk, he'll have to save us from his own products. There. That's probably what he's going to get remembered for, guys. Saving us from all the products that he made. Or is he just going to take off to Mars or Saturn or somewhere like that? Live in some space station thing. Who knows? All right, jokes aside there, let's move on. We're really getting off the reserve there. But that's where we are right now with the old Bitcoin. And let's jump into where we're going with some of the bigger pictures here with the Crypto Clarity Act. So we're going to get into that. That's coming up. Before we do that, though, let's get into the ETH chart. This ETH chart here on the minute as well, because we love minute charts. We're running our little bots. We got some comments in here in a minute. We got SMO in house. Hey, SMO Spider, good to see you. Good news indeed. Lars, save us from his own products. Yeah. That's the irony of it all. But here we are at the moment on the minute chart here, and Bitcoin, Ethereum's looking real. I don't think it's looking real good. Now there's always the bear view, and you can't ignore that, right? Because markets go up and down. But let's look at the hourly chart here for Ethereum overnight, and you can see similar pattern. But actually, I think Ethereum's looking quite good at 2160. Ideally, we'd want it over 2200, but it's still looking pretty good. Let's go to the daily chart. And Wookie says you are off the reserve super. Yeah. Not wrong. But we're at 2160 at the moment with the old chart on the hourly. The daily now. We're just below the 2,200 mark there on the 50-day moving average. So, we want to get back over that. But, we're kind of looking good. We've got a higher low in place. And let's see where we get on from here. Yeah, it's looking kind of positive on the old Ethereum at the moment. So, kind of cool. We obviously want this to round up and go to a golden cross. We're currently still playing out this death cross from last year, 24th of November. And, of course, we had the big liquidation event, which I think was $19 billion on the 10th of November back here, that big event there. Still kind of, thrashed the market. We're kind of having a bit of a relief consolidation at the moment. And we're kind of little sneak peeks maybe that we're moving into more bullish sentiment. So we'll keep a lookout for that. Still going to get over this 2200 and start tracking up. The 200-day moving average is at 2780. Sorry, 2780. So we've still got a bit of work to do there. Nice big U-turn there. We're pretty nice. But we do have the Clarity Act in April, May. So in this zone here, and that is just the floodgates will open after that. Doesn't mean the market will necessarily. We'll probably have a little pop, maybe a little retrace, but that's basically long-term bullish because all the institutions can come in without a problem once it's fully regulated. They just have to maybe change their constitutions and things or their attitude to risk, but apart from that, they can legally just come in without any issues and they won't worry about it, and we'll get takeover time. Now Tom Lean there, just like Michael Saylor in strategy, he's leading the way in for Ethereum. Not only is he the biggest digital asset treasury, but he's also building the infrastructure out for the takeover of the monetary system. Now, obviously, there's going to be different components to that, but he's going to be definitely one of the big king players, and Bitmine Immersion there leading the way as the biggest digital asset treasury. In fact, the difference is that they're even much bigger than the Bitcoin digital asset treasuries, because at least a couple of the digital asset treasuries will be doing well for Bitcoin. Copying strategy and things like that, using Stretch to build up income value, all that sort of stuff. But here, Bitmine Immersion really stands alone. SBET's doing their own stuff in the DeFi, it's certainly contributing, but really Bitmine is the player. And we can see that they're up at 4.66 million, so they're almost at 4.7 million ETH. They're heading towards 6 million, pretty powerful stuff. They are doing massive retail adoption. This is coming through Mr. Beast. It's going to be one of the main ways that crypto takes over the world, with mass adoption, and Mr. Beast is the biggest influencer in the world. And then, of course, they're also going to be pulling together other pieces of the puzzle to make this retail adoption happen, right? So they're coming in with Orbs. Orbs, of course, tied in to a lot of the AI and digital ID, with Sam Altman there. Obviously, he's a bit of a dodgy dude, but that is coming in here as well. So this is huge, pulling these pieces together, and that could bode very well. Now, Mr. Beast and WorldCoin are all looking to go to ICO, so they're going to both have launches. People are targeting OpenAI with that, with WorldCoin and Sam Altman, and therefore both Mr. Beast with Beast Industries and OpenAI both looking at trillion plus launches when they go public, right? And at the moment, the only way to get access to that is via Orbs. And of course, at the moment, Tom Lee's gone on the Orbs board, as well as Kathy from ARK Investments. And also, obviously, Bitmine Immersion's got a big investment in Orbs as well, so $95 million stake. So that will certainly give them some percentage of access to that, but also key players in pulling this all together. It's a big deal. So this is really exciting, guys. The new monetary system being led the way. Now, there's many other aspects to Bitmine. Obviously, they're going to be helping be the payment layer for the new monetary system on Ethereum. They're also going to be helping to bridge traditional companies that have no idea how to bridge themselves to the blockchain, and they're going to be doing a lot of that work too. We're talking about the big companies, so exciting times there. It's going to be cool. They got $1.1 billion under management, which means they could buy probably another 550,000 Bitcoin, Ethereum, and quickly get themselves well over 5 million. But we'll keep a lookout for that. They're also talking about mergers and acquisitions. There's lots of things that could happen here. All the pieces of the puzzle coming together to make this super a new big company. So think big like BlackRock or something like that. This is kind of that or Berkshire Hathaway for the Ethereum. It's going to be a big deal, and so exciting future there. So big stuff there, and they're basically vampiring the finance market there, more broadly than, say, Let's Strategy. They obviously increased their staking from 3.04 million to 3.142 million. They got 4.7 almost million to stake. That's going to be happening, so keep a lookout for that. Their income at the moment is currently running at around 272 million a year once they're fully staked, and once they get to 6 million, 353 million. Obviously, if Ethereum doubles or triples, if that triples, they'll be over $1 billion in income a year, right? So that's the idea there. Pretty awesome stuff. Obviously, Ethereum and Bitcoin have been outperforming the markets, and gold in particular. So it's been pretty cool. Clarity Act is coming. The probability it's going to get through. What else we got there? 65,000 ETH was their last buy. So they've been increasing their buys and basically signaled that the bottom of the market was around probably last week. So, it doesn't mean they're going to be exactly right about that, but Tom DeMark there, big timing guru, talking about last week, and we see the increased purchases here accordingly from Bitmine, and we may get a big purchase at some stage, maybe 200,000-300,000 ETH, trying to settle the bottom, and so we'll keep a lookout for that. According to data from Fundstrat there, they're still getting $1.2 billion 5-day average. So I said, average daily volume of 1.2 billion, which is the 5-day average. Pretty awesome, because big volume means big liquidity. Big liquidity means you can do those capital raises, right? So issue more BMNR. In this case, they don't have a stretch product. I don't think they're going to end up with a stretch product, at least at the moment, based on what Tom Lee said. But certainly they've got their common stock there that they issue, and that's accretive, right? Because that is accrete. There's no debt, remember? no debt. Beautiful. So keep a lookout for that. So really good stuff there. So keep a lookout. Could be pretty exciting. And at the moment, you're kind of getting, I don't know, maybe getting a big deal on BMNR right now, super cheap. It was very valuable. It was up at $160, now $20, give or take. So really good zone at the moment for that. So do with that what you will. So kind of cool. And yeah, so that's Ethereum right now, holding up pretty well at 121.60. See if it can get back over that 2200 and move forward here. And obviously anything around Iranian peace deal and calming down the whole thing with the oil flows will all feed into that as well. All right, kind of cool. That is our overall market view. How long did that take us? 45 minutes. Not bad. All right, so we do not quite finished though, because Liberty Swap's done a really nice breakdown of the Clarity Act as it's come out of I think the banking committee for the Senate. Remember, it got approved in the House, and now they've done all these changes in the Senate. Presumably it has to go back to the House, but we'll see. But certainly looking for an possible April approval. And this is the last big thing, right? The last big thing in terms of regulatory stuff. Once this is done, the blockchain, at least in the United States, and crypto is regulated, right? Fully regulated there. This means all custodial stablecoin issues. So the latest text of the Crypto Clarity Act explicitly prohibits any yield or rewards on stablecoin balances. This is what Liberty Swap has gained from the draft. This means all custodial stablecoin issuers, centralized exchanges, centralized platforms, traditional finance wrappers are now banned from offering any form of yield on customer holdings. Remember the big battle between bank yields, and that's what was holding it up. What's now dead, centralized exchange-based delta neutral strategies, off-chain hedge fund vaults, and any give us your capital and we'll passively earn yield for you products are apparently off the market there. The rule is simple, says Liberty Swap. If it's not DeFi, decentralized finance, it's not allowed. This forces capital from previously chased centralized yield to flow directly into on-chain DeFi protocols instead. Huge opportunity for conservative, well-audited, and battle-tested DeFi protocols to capture the TVL or total value locked and thrive. So there we go. So stablecoin yield and Crypto Clarity Act won't allow rewards and balances, the latest text says. So this is the banks trying to protect themselves. Remember, the banks basically have fractionalization. They offer you very little money for your yields, and they get massive money. So it's a big scam Ponzi scheme. And of course, they've been scared for decades of true disintermediation. And of course, that's what they're facing right now, right? With the old blockchain, it's finally the one to do it. The one disintermediation to do it is the crypto and the blockchain, and of course DeFi in particular. They're terrified of it because they'll lose their they're a bit like authoritarian Marxist governments, banks. So they're going to lose all that stuff. So that's what they're worried about there. All right, so that is the play there on the Libby. So that was a nice little update. Let's get on to there. But yeah, before you do it, let's if you guys haven't subscribed on the way in, smash the subscribe button. We're streaming on 3 YouTube channels: the Kryptonite Show, what else? The Superman Crypto channel, and the Pulsechain X channel. So if you're on any of those, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell for future videos. And if you're loving this comment, leave a comment. That'd be great. We try to stay drama neutral, so there's plenty of drama channels out there. They do their thing. We just try to stay on the numbers as much as possible. Yeah, it's a great place to be. We've got a great community. Our Discord's well over 1,000 people in the Discord. You could be one of those too. You can join up the Strategy Club or be a general member. Strategy Club is just over $1 a day, about $35 a month. And you get all the intel as I'm researching past in there. We have a great discussions in there as well. Our general Discord membership is $12.50, and we have some amazing resources in there, as well as the only crypto help desk I'm well aware of, and hundreds of people have been helped through there, and we've got some great moderators that help do that. So big shout out to our moderators that take their time, and some community members too, to do that. So a great place to be in the Discord there. All right, let's get into Pulsechain, because Pulsechain's definitely been under pressure. What a time to buy now. Is that the time? Sister, where is the bottom? Where is the bottom? We're hunting the bottom. We've been hunting the bottom for now, I wouldn't say 1,048 days, but certainly maybe 900 days. 900 days. So there we go. Now, to be fair, we've had a lot of black swan events on Pulsechain, and we also had the SEC. So the SEC was over the head of Pulsechain for 2 years, between the 31st of July 2023, all the way through until it was truly once and for all defeated through the courts, not through change of leadership in the White House, but through the courts on the 7th of July last year. So the battle was won. Richard Hart, the founder of Pulsechain, there won that battle, and of course Hex, Pulsechain, and PulseX have special, well, they have some case law now behind them. So pretty cool, pretty special, pretty unique out there. And pretty much, as far as I'm aware, the only really ones to do it, right? The others all had some sort of settlement of some sort, but no, that was true victory there. So Richard really got the glory on that, and hats off to him, hats off to him. Obviously, Richard Hart also launched Hex on Ethereum. It was one of the 4 or 5 coins in the 2021 bull market that did a 10,000x. It was claim to fame. As I understand it, had something like 1 in 3 Ethereum whales participate in it, based on, I think, on dip catcher numbers or something like that. So, it really has caused a stir there. And but now, obviously, Richard Hart has Pulsechain. One would argue originally designed to deal with high gas prices from the 2021 bull market for Hex. So regarding the S-load function, which was kept on getting increased. I can't remember how many times, was it 7 times or something? 5, 7 times. And so, it was all supposed to bring down the prices. Now, things have changed since then a lot. Second layer protocols, all the upgrades, etc. So the world is very different. And now here we are. Richard has now, 5 Pulsechain cores and the Ethereum OG coin. So that's 6 coins. And here we are with Pulsechain. So let's get into it. Day 1048. We got Pulse at the moment under pressure. 50848, and the low so far has been 7800. I think maybe we got slightly below that, but we'll look at that later on. 50846. We're down 2.63% at the moment. Remember, the sacrifice price was 0001, and here we are at 5084. So let's think about that. In other words, a massive volume redistribution here as money has gone elsewhere, right? So, but big opportunity for buyers, new buyers picking up massive volumes at this price level, right? PulseX at the moment is at 50621, even further down, down 4.3%. Pretty crazy stuff right now. And we have the buy and burn here on GoPulse at about 8.74%. Pulsechain Stats, this is another data site, has it at about 9.2, I think, 9.2%. But that kind of reflects about 20% of the sacrifice value has now been burned. So it's another perspective to look at it. So pretty cool. Ink token at the moment, 36 cents, down 4% today. And then we've got Hex on Pulsechain, which is the full copy of the OG Hex on Ethereum. It is currently at 0.14 of a penny, down 3.4%. The OG Hex is sitting at 00057. Can you believe it? 00057. The 10,000x coin is now down at 00057. Now, obviously, you could add up both of those together, and we're sitting on P-Hex and E-Hex at 2/10 of a penny. But man, what a crazy world we live in, right? The 10x coin, 10,000x coin is now down at combined on Pulsechain at 2/10 of a penny, but separated at 00057 on Ethereum there. Welcome to crypto, guys. Welcome to crypto. Now, is the game over? Well, the argument would be that Richard Hart has all the sacrifice money. He has LP pools. He has many other things available to him. And he's waiting to try and make, Pulsechain season happen, which is what he said last year. So some interesting things there. And that's a whole nother topic, which we'll talk about in another video perhaps. But that is pretty cool. Now, in fact, we should probably do that. We should probably have a video where I talk about all the bullish stuff there. Now, this is on the assumption that you believe Richard Hart is out for glory and he's going to pump the chain at some stage in the future. Now, it's going to take a lot longer than people expected, that's for sure. But when he does it, who will be around to enjoy that? Now, it assumes he does it, all right? And we're pretty confident that we're in that camp that he will do it at some stage, because we've seen a lot of chess moves from him last year, and we also see some interesting things happening at the moment, which we'll allude to a little bit, even in this live stream. So stay tuned for that. All right, so that's kind of where we are on at the moment. Let's jump over to the gas prices. So a super awesome time for redistribution at the moment on Pulsechain. 870,000 beats is the current gas price, pretty much what we've had the last couple of days. The price is up a little bit though, 0.3 of a penny. Let's have a look at the validators at the moment. 51,000, is it 50? No way. So we've gone down dramatically, guys, today. we were at 52,400. We've gone down 1,400 by my counts. That's a dramatic drop. So I'm not sure where they've come from. Maybe someone's commented on that on X. But was it Vouch? Was it Validate X, the two big public validators, or was it one of the private holders? Was it a Rack and Michelle or somebody? Who knows? But that's pretty interesting. Let's go to the bridge today. The bridge at the moment is 69.8, or just under 70 million. We were just crossed back over 7 million yesterday. We're just back underneath that today, but we'll keep a lookout for that as well. Obviously, we've got about $37 million in idle stable coins on Pulsechain. Now, who would leave that idle capital over here? Well, the only person I can think of is probably Richard Hart, maybe a couple other people, but and retail. But obviously, people have risk managers as well, so there'd be those guys. But that's pretty crazy. So even that capital could pump the chain very, very quickly, because apparently we've only got 3 or 4 million in supporting the LP at the moment. So we've got thin liquidity. So anything could happen, even with this capital, let alone bridging over any of the Magic Upright Ethereum, or any other capital like that, which is for another video we'll do. Well, so that is pretty much where we are there. Let's go look at the markets. This is the top 100 trending here on Deck Screener. Look at the volume, guys, 3.6 million, and we're in a weekday. Obviously, we've got the Iranian conflict on, but 3.6 million right now in volume, 218,000 transactions. Remember, it wasn't so long ago we were up at 600,000, making record transaction levels down here at 218. We've got Staked ETH at the moment is at the top. There's one of our fork copies. So when Pulsechain forked Ethereum back on the 10th of May 2023, so one of those copies there, that's up 15% at the moment. It seems to be a preferred. Now, obviously, Staked ETH typically means that it's a derivative of ETH. You stake your ETH and you get Staked ETH, and that's kind of the protocol there. And that seems to have some preference there, but I think it is off the bottom. Let's have a look at the chart there. Let's have a look we'll go to the weekly because it's been around for so long. Look at that volatility. Still actually relatively up from the beginning period in 24, 23. But look at the volatility there. Pretty crazy stuff right now. But let's have a look at the pulse ratio, right? Everything the pulse. It's still looking pretty bad from the top, but actually quite strong from the bottom there. And so 360 pulse right now. So Staked ETH, they're still doing okay. 9mm, our big DEX. So we've got two big DEXs, right? Pulsex and 9mm. Pulsex is the giant, and 9mm is the other one of significance. And that is currently up here at the moment, up 10.4%. Now, they're still paying out like 20,000 approximately in yield dividends to the holders of 9mm, and NFT holders got a secondary income. But this is sort of coming off the bottom US dollar price. But we've got to ignore the US dollars, right? We've got to go to the, in this case at least, we've got to go to the pulse ratio. Now, it's definitely projects on Pulsechain doing well on the US dollars, but really it's kind of the pulse ratio at the moment we're looking at. So 436 at the moment, so it is off the bottom there, but sort of, still not outperforming. And the reason will be because Pulsechain is down, right? This is DEX volumes. DEXs will normally rally when Pulse gets on a mega uptrend. Of course, we're hoping to find the bottom of the mega downtrend, and so it's being suppressed. But man, when it turns around, the volumes on the DEXs will go up, and so 9mm and PulseX will have the FOMO money start to flow in, right? The FOMO there. So just keep note of that. So one of the blue chips, one would argue, but still waiting for a big reverse trend there. Or a market maker that says, screw it. Let's go. We've got True Farm here. Now, True Farm is doing something different as well, right? So True Farm there from Neil and the team. They're doing something different, right? So they're taking a different approach. They're trying to do a kind of a managed fund approach, right? Kind of a managed fund. Yeah, it's kind of like a managed fund approach. And they basically got a 2x miner. In other words, you put your pulse in and you get a deal to try and double your pulse over a period of time. They've had their first 2x miners about 2 weeks ago, I think it was. They get their first 2x. And they are basically setting up DeFi and investing in DeFi and managing that, right? So probably great product, arguably for maybe new people or people that are busy and that sort of stuff. So it's going to be interesting to watch the True 2X team. They seem to be very professional. They're very respected players. So, most DeFi is not real DeFi, if you know what I mean. You're always trusting the founders or the people managing it. And so far, these guys have been doing a pretty good job. So they had the 2x miner, and then they expanded. They had an investment vehicle that goes around and invests some of the, I think it's 10%. And then they have other mechanisms there as well, which is a bigger topic. But they went and invested in Emmet Farm, which is kind of the top farm on Pulsechain. And then they ended up taking the EDI, earning EDI out of that, which is pretty clever. I think they got 25%, something like 26% of the pool. So they're earning a lot of EDI, very clever, at pretty high yields. And they fund that back into the 2x miner, looking pretty good there. And then they decided, hey, look, this is such a good idea. Let's do a deal with the Emmet Farm, with Kairos, the founder, and they started their own farm, True Farm. And now they got the same setup there. And they got 2 farms now earning EDI, pushing through volume. So it's a pretty interesting play, and we're tracking it pretty well. So far it's going well, and we'll just keep tracking it. They certainly seem to have to make a lot of management decisions. I think every day. I think they must meet each other, the little council there, and that's up 7.5%. So we'll keep a look out there. 77 cents, still holding up pretty well. GoPulse, a little controversial. GoPulse on the swapping. The swapping fees and rates are pretty bad, I think, but the data site's still pretty good, and that's why we use it. It's up 6% right now. We got the PDI printer. This is at number 5, up 5.7%. This is from OG WebChef, right? So OG WebChef there. So pretty cool. I'm gonna have to refresh this because it's got stuck. It's got stuck. I don't know what's get stuck. Maybe it's getting overheated here in the Australian weather. We've got Sparta here is up 3.7% at the moment. This is supposed to be a hex derivative, but I don't think they have that much hex in their DAO anymore. We got UFO there up 3.3%. This is the child of PGC, and that's doing okay, up 3.3. In fact, we've got Zero Trust here. Now, Zero Trust is tied into the PCock system. People call it the trifecta, right? We've got Zero there. I always forget which the other one is every time I look at it. We've got Zero there, and that's up 1.8%. PCock making a bit of a move, or at least holding at the moment, but it's up slightly, 1.6%. And this is the giant for me. This is the Kraken of Pulsechain, is Liberty Swap and PCock, and it's pretty awesome. Now, I don't know if you guys remember Crypto Sparbook. Do you remember him? So Crypto Sparbook and I think A-Bit Hex, they did these tours of Hex when Hex was for the last couple of years, and then they obviously, when Hex got really down, they had to do other things in their life, which is fine. But Crypto Sparbook seemed to be part of the PCock system, but then he did a video yesterday about, which is stuff that I talk about all the time, which is that a lot of stuff that Liberty Swap is doing is all the stuff that was on Richard's roadmap, right? Do you guys remember Richard's roadmap, that piece of paper? To Richard's roadmap, and included a wallet and a stablecoin, remember that, and privacy and everything else, everything that Liberty Swap's doing. But Liberty Swap's doing it in such a way that it's brilliant. It's just absolutely genius, at the frontier of trading and privacy and bridging and everything. The whole lot, they're doing everything. It's great. It's great. So it's like when I look at Liberty Swap and go, oh my OMG, thank goodness that's on Pulsechain. It's a bit like that, right? So was that the longest time to have a drink? I don't know, but that was it was a pretty crazy time these days. Now, Valiant, just before we move on, Valiant says here, Musk equals problem, reaction, and solution. Yeah, and then problem, reaction, solution. It's in a loop there. Maybe it's a infinite regression. We got MSO and that says True 2x. Yeah, they're True 2x doing well there. So yeah, we got PCock there holding up pretty decent. Liberty Swap 100% says SMO, absolutely. So yeah, we're looking pretty good. Now they've got a huge roadmap. Now this I don't think their roadmap's ever going to stop. They're just going to bring alpha after alpha after alpha, probably at least once or twice, 2 things every month. The run rate they've been doing, and so they are continuing on there. Now, is it tied into Richard Hart? Right? Is it Richard Hart behind this? Question mark. They seem to be well funded. So we shall see. We shall see when that comes. But they seem well funded. They got everything Richard needs to bridge in new funds to Pulsechain and pump the Pulsechain without anyone really knowing. Too easy. Obviously, people know green candles when you get gold mode candles, but pretty interesting. Now the other question is, will we see people like the Hex Gold Whale? Who's a big ETH whale, and will we see him come back again and do some magic? Interesting. See what happens there. Now we've got Top Hat as well from Crypto Coffee. Top Hat here. I didn't mean to jump on that actually. I have to refresh again. I'm sorry. I don't know why it's just getting stuck in the UI for some reason. So we've got PCock. We've got Top Hat down there from Crypto Coffee that's tied into PCock as well. So all these ones are all PCock, heavily paired with PCock. So top hat's up 1.5%. We've had Firewall and Solid X there, sort of doing okay from Firewall. Now, apparently Firewall's gone off to his real-world businesses to rebuild the cash, I guess, and then come back in later on. So we'll keep a lookout for that. Certainly failed to do a couple of things. Now, I really like Fail. You hear him talk. I like him. He seems like a really great guy. Certainly confident in himself. But actually, failed to deliver on the things. And I'm just being, objective about that. Failed on, first of all, who he gave tokens to, and then failed on the actual launch itself. So there was a double failure there. Now the first one, giving coins to, probably helped to make the actual rollout fail, but there was a lot of problems there, and just seemed very basic ones to do. So I really like Firewall, but it was disappointing. Let's put it that way. And that's fine in life, right? You're going to have people that say certain things, and they just make a lot of fundamental mistakes, which is a bit sad. And it's even more sad when they've been in the market for so long. Yeah, I'm still optimistic. We'll see what happens with Firewall. Always give people a second, third chance. So we'll keep a lookout for that. That's kind of where we are right now. All right, so we're going to jump down here to Teddy Bear from James Maria, up a little bit as well. Stacks is up 0.5%, so that's at number 18. PTC there with Wrapped ETH up a little bit there. So we've got 19 coins that are in the green US dollar wise, and so on. But a lot of coins there probably doing better than Pulse still, even though they're in the red. So yeah, it was Pulse down a couple of percentage points. So probably still got 2/3 of the coins doing better than Pulse at the moment. But that's about it. What else? Let's go all the way down and look at the ones that are not doing too great today. ZKP is down because ProveX is down, right? So ZKPX is there. You buy ZKP, you stake it, and you earn ProveX. And of course, I think it's probably going to do pretty well over time as long as they keep the awareness up. It's Kairos is the founder from Emmett Farm, obviously, so I think that's pretty bullish for it. So even though it gets these big volatility days, it's just because it's kind of a leverage play on ProveX. So we'll see what happens there. I still think that's going to be probably pretty good over time. But let's have a look at ProveX itself. ProveX here is down at 8,300. Woohoo! So I talked about this. I called the rollover back up here, remember? So that was kind of cool. And rollovers is what you should look for. So if you're in crypto, look for rollovers, because you definitely know you've bought the top and it's about to go down. And the other thing is that the RSI is a big help too, right? So when it gets overheated here, see how it's overheated here on the 4 hour? This is an indication that it's starting to roll over, right? Now, sometimes it can come back for a double top, but what we should look at is the top that's coming up as well. So it was pretty ominous there, and then someone decided it was the top there. They're looking at the charts probably, and they also, they had a big run up, so they're, thinking, man, I've made so much money, and so they're going to sell. That's kind of the idea there. And then they keep selling at each other, right? Just so people FOMO each other over the top. It's all the greatest thing since sliced bread. They then sell it down the same way as well. And it's come back down a certain percentage, right? So it's come back down here, had a nice attempt to go back up, got sold down again, came back up here, and turning point, right? So once it broke this low here, it had another lower low, right? Got up to here, it didn't break the previous high, and so it comes down again, had a little attempt to try and hold up, went up a little bit, couldn't do it, and down it went. So, roll over, right? Roll over there. But this first one here really was the sign. So it's very important that if you're out there and you're feeling emotional about something, use the RSI, look for this rollover, right? Look for this rollover. It's better that you exit and fight another day with your profits, or buy in late and buy the top, than to come in here, right? Because you'll get your portfolio, whatever your risk allocation or whatever you've done, will get wiped out. So RSI is the minimum technical you should have there. 4 hour is the trader's view, so it's a good little micro view. And then the daily, of course, is what most people look at. And we don't have an RSI yet printing, right? So we don't have an RSI printing. Go to the 4 hour trader's view, and that print will come in pretty quickly. See how it sort of launched? Then we had that 4 hour print come in, rallied up, boom. There was your clue, right? Pretty reliable. Yeah, it got a little bit higher later, but actually pretty damn reliable, right? So you can stay in a little bit after you see that, but probably time to exit and fight another day, right? Fight another day, rather than lose all your bags and down. It depends what you're putting in there, of course, but that is the play there. So ProveX down. Now, What did we see happen here, back here? We saw Richard Hart do a post, just happened to when the market maker came in. So that's why we assign the market maker to most likely Richard Hart, right? Now, it may not be him, but it just the timing was just too ridiculous. And the fact that he would comment on it at all at the time, he might, if it ran up, he might comment on it near the top, right? Go, oh, look at that, it's taken off, look at it, it's up 200%. It's not what he normally does, right? But this time he did it when it was actually got pumped by the market maker, which is pretty interesting. So that's kind of, we're playing probabilities here, and that does seem very, very likely there. So once again, may have been some other player, but just seemed too coincidental there. And normally Richard comes in after it's pumped a bit and says, look, it's up 200%. That's the glory post, right? So we'll see how that goes. Now, if these already been, if that is true, now we're making on assumptions and probability there and making an assignment there for that judgment, then, he'll come back in again, right? And will we start will it eventually find a bottom, and Richard's let people sell out, right? Let them sell out. It's a bit like fishing. You let the fish out, you let it out, and you let all the sacrifices sell out of their big profits, and see where you go from there. So that's the play there. Now, we obviously can use other tools like Fibonacci retracements, Fibonacci extensions to get prices. So there's all that stuff that we can do there. So if we use that here for the market maker bump, you could see that we can put that up there, and you can see we're already back down to 78.6. But let's be a bit more violent with the chart and ignore the market maker, and let's go right to the bottom. And let's go down to where we're this. So we won't start at the bottom there, of course. It's price discovery, but let's go to the bottom there and look at that move. And so this arguably would have the move at the 78.6, which looks very much likely where we could go, and that would be 7,700. I'm just rounding it, 7,700, 7,669, but we're just going to round it 7,700. That's probably where we could go here with the price, right? So assuming we don't get some massive pump in Bitcoin and Ethereum and things like that, and we may get some rotation too, so that might actually fulfill this in place. So 7,700 is kind of the target there. We accurately called the 9,000 target. Remember that? When we used this tool, it hit there exactly, didn't it? And so on. So, it's not going to be a fail-safe, but certainly pretty damn reliable here. So now we used a combination of the RSI and the Fibonacci as well. Now, Fibonacci extensions are used to try to, find out where the price will go. So that's the other tool we can use there as well. But at the moment, it's still on that kind of downtrend. So we'll see where we head from here. All right. So that is the mark there. What else should we say about this? So we've got that 7,600 at the moment, so we'll keep looking at that. Will the market maker come in and try to make another parabolic once they're happy that people have sold out? We're trying to rinse, make the chart look good, rinse out these old guys. Maybe they were some of the people that sold. Maybe they came in here, they sold. Maybe there's some of these red candles. The market maker, I don't know. I haven't looked at the chain analysis, but that's also possible too, right? They push the market rallies. They sell down, and then they got all the more money to go and pump it for another parabolic. So who knows? I haven't done the analysis for that, but that's possible too. It's normally what you might expect, actually. All right, Liberty Swap, absolutely looking good there. Bullish on the bird, says Valiant. Bullish on the bird indeed. All right, so that is Provix. So that's pretty cool. So that's some of the action there. Provix is down. SCADA's down at the moment. DFC is down. Investors down 163. We've seen these moving around a lot. Smorg's down 11%. And Zero Knowledge Printer there, the first protocol really to offer some DeFi, not swapping, excluding swapping and all that, but they were straight out of the gate for that. So we'll keep looking. Volume down at 4K, obviously lower volume, less Provex, but actually I think because they're so early as the first one there, and if they just got sold down, just so we're talking about it, that could really start to, once we get another pump in Provex, game on for this too, right? This seems like that first mover advantage could do pretty well. Once again, not financial advice, speculative, but certainly, well done to Kairos getting that out so early. Now, it's got big holders. Don't remember that, like anything. It's got big, I think it's a pump tires. I think it's pump tires. So just take note of that. All right. Interesting times out there. Like I say, a lot of these blue chips that are not pumping really yet, Pulsex, 9mm, the two big dexes. The big validators, the Vault 369, well, Vault 369 it's not really launched yet, but that token's already out there. But, looking at any of the big validators like, I'm confusing their Let me just make sure. Vault 369. No, what's the other one? Vouch. Vouch is the one I'm thinking of. Sorry, Vouch and ValidateX, the two big public validators. Those will probably pump too once we get Pulsechain reversal. Right, we're all waiting for those. So we have got a good half a dozen blue chips, in my opinion. The liquidity forks, the DEXs, the validators. Those three kind of groups. But they'll have to wait. They'll have to wait there to the Pulsechain reversals, in my view, generally speaking. So, and they'll probably get re-rated. Now the other ones is the ones that don't need to wait around for Pulsechain to re-rate. The Liberty swaps, right? The PCocks of the world, they don't need to wait around because they're just building out a expanding DeFi system every single month with really AAA type of products, right? Frontier DeFi products. So we're expecting big things from them. Obviously, Internet Money is another dynamic blue chip. It's kind of in two camps. It's kind of in the DEX camp, so waiting for that to really take off. But it's also in the yield. It's giving you nice yield now. It's a bit like 90mm is with the swapping, but it's also multi-chain in that sense too. I mean, 90mm is kind of a little bit multi-chain, but it's got that play up. But it's also doing a lot of. It's on all the platforms, right? So it's on all the big platforms, and so it's got access to 190 countries, 40 blockchains. So it's a really quite a bigger beast. And of course, they're doing a lot of partnerships and expansions constantly there with Internet Money, including Bitcoin, right? So it's kind of neat. So we've kind of got the two big dynamic protocols, obviously Liberty Swap really at the frontier, but also Internet Money there sitting in the back. So it's kind of a big view of the blue chips. I would call those blue chips. And then everything else is kind of next levels, different levels down there. I'd say some of the farms are just down there below that, the Emmett farm and that. They're riskier, but they offer high yields. So you got that playoff, and we've got a couple of farms in that place as well. We've probably got about 8 farms that are sort of ticking away still, but probably the top, maybe 3 are still delivering consistent, sustainable yields, as we would say. So a couple of plays there. All right, let's jump away. We've got Vouch 369 coming though. Excited about that. We've also got a lot of other cool protocols coming from Stu, from Jacob, and these are all pretty high quality second tier DeFi. PUSD ALGO, of course, the flagship, but we're going to have to wait for Ethereum, and we need the Signum Oracle up, so they're still holding on for that. But hopefully Jacob's going to surprise to the upside. He really, he's just one of the best developers in the world, and we're lucky to have him on Pulsechain, but he does need to get solid deliveries in there. Now, obviously the market's not helping. He probably needs the market to pop up there a bit, but would love to see that. Would love to see him, deliver some really top quality protocols, just like Liberty Swap is doing. Liberty Swap there is doing, got all the features, all the balances there, so excited about that. All right, so that's kind of some of the play. Let's jump over to some of the latest news for Liberty Swap and see what they've been up to as well while we're talking about them. How are we doing for time? We're up to an hour and 15. Probably should finish up pretty shortly. But recently they've been doing a lot of extra product additions to the existing protocols. Remember that they have already got Liberty Swap, so the bridge to Pulsechain and multi-chain. They've got all the assets, all the stable coins, right? So you can do all sorts of stuff there. In fact, we might go to the website and have a quick look at that. Let's have a look. So they got their public exchange. So this is the bridging. So they got public and they got the private as well, right? So you do need the railway wallet. So you have to download that to play this, but you'll be in privacy mode there. So if you want your privacy, you'll be able to shield and unshield and all that sort of stuff. So you'd have to get used to all that. A lot of big players use that sort of technology, but retail book to some degree wants to use it as well for privacy. So it's kind of cool. You've got to be careful with, I think, certain aspects, but it's pretty neat. So yeah, they've made it really simple. So we've got the public one, which most people use, right? But the key thing about this, they've got all the stable coins. Look at this. This is kind of Richard Hart's vision, right? Richard Hart's vision here. USDC, they've got all these, look at them. Base chain, Ethereum, BSC, Arbitrum, Pulsechain. Now everyone's using, most people know are using this. USD here, Pulsechain, Solana, Polygon, Optimism, Mainnet, Unichain, Link. So look at all the stable coins. They got USD Tether, BSC, and Ethereum. They got DAI on Ethereum. They got Ethereum itself, wrapped Ethereum Pulsechain, Mega ETH as well, which they seem to have some special relationship over there or position. And they got PCock, obviously, Ethereum, BSC, and Pulsechain. I wonder how the arbitrage is going on those. That'd be interesting. We got Pulse, obviously Pulse and Wrap Pulse. PDAI is in there. Now, I always question, we went through this, with the top Titans. So the Titans, as I defined it, was around liquidity, right? Something over 100,000 liquidity trading on main pairs. That's kind of how I was, defining it there. And so we only ended up having, what we have, 8 coins, something like that in that zone, 8 coins. PDI is in that mix, right? So PDI there has had multiple failed protocols try to prop it up to, this narrative of PDI to $1. So I'm not a big fan of that at this stage. Always open-minded. This is crypto after all. But it is still doing extremely well on the volume, and it has a very dedicated community, right? So it's got that and influencers. So it's got some of it. It does have some strengths, and that keeps it up quite high. So it's still doing very well there. And so it's it's one of the titans in volume, 24-hour volume, and it's still there. But what else? And maybe LibreSwap's making a lot on that volume for that. But what else? Is it going to be supported in any other way? Since Better Bank failed, since since Maker was shut down by the USDX or ex-USD team, and all the rest of it, what is going to happen? Is there something else happening here? Is LibreSwap actually going to do something with these guys? And what might that be? So it's still an open question. I'm not suggesting they are. They do talk about it a lot, but I think it's more about the volume that they really are talking about it. In fact, it's one of the titans. But if they surprise to the upside, we'll see. But I still don't see that happening yet. So we'll see what happens on the space there. I think there are other collaterals other arguments that might be made for the Richard Hart cause being used as the collateral, maybe a new stable coin. But let's talk about that, shall we? Because we've got a little comment about that. So let's come back to this now before we move on. So let's do that. Let's go to the replies. And I'm not sure how far down it is, but we're gonna. Maybe it's not the best place to go down through the replies here. We'll see. It might be too far down. That's what I'm thinking. Where was the one that was after? Actually, the reply was on here. So let's go to this. That's why I say, if you're looking at LibertySwap, always look at the replies, because often you get a lot more insight through the replies than you do in the main post sometimes. So let's have a look here. So someone's saying when Liberty lends. So lending is coming to DeFi. So that's going to be huge. Coming. Yeah, so that's later on down the thing. First of all, we've got the ZKX private wallet, which is just huge coming. I think that's big deal. But this is the comment I wanted to say here. Let's look at this. So this, where'd it go? Oh, what the heck? What the fudge? I lost the whole thing then, didn't I? Did I lose it there? Oh, no, here it is here. All right, so we got, Carl says, this feels like it's, I'm going to use a fucking huge, obviously we're a PG channel, for Pulsechain and a possible MakerDAO Sky emergence on Pulsechain. Now, obviously, Sky is the new name for the MakerDAO, but let's see where this heads here. So, obviously, DeFi yield. So, the problem is that this is what we read earlier, right? Huge opportunity for conservative, well-ordered and battle-tested DeFi protocols to capture the TVL and thrive. Now, let's go down and have a look at this question. So, feels like we might get this. Now, obviously, Maker was shut down, essentially, but they tried to do other things like Compound and everything else. Now, apparently, based on CryptoSolve, he reckons that there's no more issues with the major DeFi contracts on Pulsechain in terms of major exploits and things. So hopefully we're not going to get any more Black Swan events. That would certainly want to be the key catalyst. It looks like the sacrifice set hopefully is largely stopped selling, and the selling at losses is not that much fun. So hopefully we will get the bottom in on Pulsechain, right? And then the market can move up. So it was a lot more brutal than anyone could imagine, but hopefully we're pretty close to that. So we'll see. But LibertySwap responded to this, says, we have a safer on-chain yield product called Hex. Now, obviously, Hex was, as we talked about earlier, was one of the big top 4 or 5 coins last bull market, the 10,000x, all that sort of stuff, depending on what exchange you're looking at. And so that's a huge deal. But look at what they say below here. The second one is coming. Safer on-chain yield product called Hex. The second one is coming, guys. I mean, these guys just keep feeding into the Richard Hart narrative, don't they? They just keep feeding everything they do. And I've been saying this for a long time now. It's just so Richard Hart. But it's Richard Hart with a project leader that knows all the technical details. Do you know what I mean? Like Richard Hart, to me, is a big thinker guy. He does know technical levels on certain things. He certainly sometimes can use things incorrectly. I've seen him use economic terms incorrectly. But whoever he's got running this, or if this is truly associated to them with LibertySwap, they do act like they're not associated, right? So, but then everything they're doing kind of associated. So it is pretty interesting. And of course, I think the fact that what they do is bigger than what they say, it's definitely looking closer to Richard. But we'll see what happens in the future. But they said the second one is coming. Now, if we were to say this was Richard, in the future, is the second one coming with collateral? Are they going to use all the Richard cores and collateralize into some stablecoin thing? Is that a vision? Are they going to do their own thing? Is PDI one of these things? Is PDI something they're going to try and create a value out, given the fact that it's one of the Titans LP? It's one of the Titans, but it's still relatively the smaller one, right? So it still only just makes the grade. Because if we go to Pulsecoin list, we're really going off the wire today. But if we go to Pulsecoin list, and we go have a look at the volumes, right? So we'll have a look at the Titans, like we did the other day. And let's go have a look at the, I think it's the 24-hour volume we were looking at. And we have a look at these coins, right? So we've got Pulsechain, we've got ProveX, we've got the Richard Cause, we got Wrapped ETH, of course, the big bridge one there. We've got Hex, we've got Pulsechain. We're going to ignore Wrapped ETH. We've got Hex and PulseX. Now, it's still relevant for a volume, of course, but we're going to ignore that. Then we've got PDI at 100, 200, and then we've got Incentive at 180, and then we've got Hex from Ethereum at 128, and then we've got PCock, which is normally can get over 100K, so that's why PCock's in there, and that's the play there, right? So we've got all those. Now, some Minimal could be there, but they're holding back their buy and burn, and Wrap Bitcoin sometimes gets up there too. But essentially, we've got, let's argue, up to 10 coins that can be Titans. In other words, 100K volume there. Now, I haven't, the derivative where they get all the volume from, that's another question, but we're just taking it for what it is at the moment on the site. So, it's a pretty big player there, as you can see in volume. That's what we call it a Titan. I think it's a dog's breakfast in terms of protocol at the moment. It really has very little value given that Maker's down, been shut down, and, Beta Bank failed and everything else fails. The James Maria stuff around it as well with his tokens, all that sort of play on there. So, but, it's still stuck around this 1200th of a penny mark. And there's definitely money to be made in there when it does a pump and a dump. Or made and lost, but that is, this is pretty much a dog's breakfast there right now. Now, the volume is still valuable, right? The volume is still valuable, so that is why it's one of the Titans, and valuable for the chain. We're only doing 3.6 million on Dex Screener. We have a bit more, right, if we include the balancer forks, right? So we don't include those; they're not included on Dex Screener, but they probably might get us up to 4 mil. But that's where we are on that. So. Is PDI going to be chosen one? Well, I just think, if I was Richard, I'd try to get rid of these, not rid of them, but rid of some of the supply of PulseX, Hex, PulseX. And how would you do that? Well, you could use it as collateral, or you could do a sacrifice, right? So Richard loves sacrifices, but you could do it collateral, right? So is this what they're alluding to? Question mark there. So some interesting thoughts, and certainly, actions speak louder than words, don't they? Yeah, it's interesting. So yeah, let's keep a look out for that. But I just thought that line was pretty interesting. The second one is coming. So they've already got something else coming. We know that. That's what this is saying. And so, yeah, pretty crazy. Now, Hex itself is facing a lot of competition in the market for yield. We've gone through all that. There are so many yield products since 2020. 2019, the end of 2019 when Hex was launched. There's a lot of competition now. Now, how does it offset that? Well, it offsets it when Hex price goes up, right? But Hex price is down in the doldrums right now. So we'll see how that plays out. I'm bullish about it because I'm bullish about what Richard will do. That's another video. But the fact that second one is coming and Liberty Swap is doing it, OMG, guys. Liberty Swap is a heavyweight, man. These guys do what they say and say what they do, something like that. But we're excited about that, and that's why the comments are so important, man. If you hadn't read the comment, you wouldn't even seen that there. Yeah, pretty crazy stuff. Second one, please do tell. Yes. The tease goes on there. So Prairie Banana from PDC, number one influencer there, that gives the coverage, says, what could this be? What could it be indeed? So yeah, Wednesday EHX there in 2 more weeks. Wednesday EHX on Pulse in 2 more weeks there. We got some funny stuff. ZKX wallet token, inevitable. Now, it doesn't mean that will be the one that they're talking about, but probably. It could be that seems to be the highest candidate, is the airdrop token that's coming with the ZKX wallet that they're launching. We're expecting this in probably the first half of April, is my guess. Public testnet, I think, is at the end of this month. For the ZKX wallet. You do all these X's and Z's, everyone names all the stuff, you get your tongue twisted there. So the ZKX wallet coming. This is, as far as I know, no one's done this before. A normal wallet matched with the privacy wallet with the railway technology. It's a hybrid, and it's a frontier DeFi. So As far as I know, that's pretty new, and therefore at the frontier DeFi and offering some pretty amazing stuff. It's going to make it so that retail can really adopt it as well, real easy. So it could be a real game changer there. And yeah, Inevitable coming there with the airdrop tokens. If you've got PCock, you get the airdrop there. So it looks like PCock holding up quite well today as people are sniffing out some of these blue clues here from the Liberty Swap. But these guys, I suggest to you, they've been very consistent with their delivery. You know, we've had a lot of disappointments with projects on Pulsechain that looked like they were going to be great, ended up being terrible. Like, remember we had some of the whale products launch, and they all had issues. You know, some more than others. And so that was a bit disappointing. But Liberty Swap keeps delivering month after month, and it's just getting bigger and bigger and bigger. Really is at the frontier of DeFi, and Pulsechain really is at the frontier of DeFi chain. And the People's Chain, you know, I mean, all these things are quite true on Pulsechain, but we still got, you know, a big DGen market, but Liberty Swap helping to change that. So if we add up all the things you think about, we add up liquidity forks, we've got 4 of those at the moment, we're going to have 5, 6 with the CoinWell launches. So we've got 6 of those. You know, we've got 2 big DEXs, so, you know, that's 8. What else do we have? The two big DEXs. What else do the Valos, 2 big public Valos, got 2 of those, so we're up to 10. I guess we could add the DEX aggregators, but you know, various access to those. We got Patias, I got Switch, you know, 1 or 2 others in there. So, you know, we're getting up to 13, 14 in terms of what we might call blue chip. And then we've got, you know, Internet Money Wallet, and looks like we're going to have Liberty Swap. Now, the other one doing another wallet too is going to be Ramp now, another one of our big bridges. So, you know, we're probably getting up towards 15 quality projects, right? Now, I think only the dynamic ones are the ones that are pumpable at the moment. The others will probably rely on a change in the mega trend instead of mega downtrend on Pulse. We get that mega uptrend. And so, but at the moment, some of the dynamic ones are really looking really exciting. So continue to rolling out in the bear market, top tier protocols. And meanwhile, all the tokens are being burned off, getting rid of. The Liberty Swap's buying more, the PCock owning more. You know, it's all heading in the right direction. All it has to do is just keep doing that. And then maybe marketing comes down the line too. You know, Liberty Swap's teased about that. I don't know whether they're going to be, you know, what they're going to be doing in that space. Clearly, it's not clearly. They've definitely made comments about it. So yeah, we'll keep a look out. But this is definitely the Kraken on Pulsechain. It's very much aligned with a lot of the vision of Richard Hart. They keep teasing out these new products all the time. They're not even been talking about the meme coins and the pump ties. I think because they're just waiting for the market to cycle back up. And so they were talking about staking, remember, with possibly with the PCock, earning a whole ton of meme coin airdrops and stuff. That'd be very popular, I think. And so, you know, and now they got the ZKP airdrop with the wallet, and a huge wallet for Pulsar, and we need a couple more wallets for sure. Internet money's great, but some people like different wallet interfaces and interactions. And if you add privacy to it too, it can be pretty interesting. The other thing we saw the other day was Internet Money at Wallet itself contact Liberty Swap publicly on X and ask, hey, here you guys have an API, can we hook some of the stuff into Internet Money at Wallet, which I love that collaboration. And, you know, people doing good things, you should try and pick up what they're doing and add it to your own. So yeah, pretty exciting stuff, guys. So wow. It's an hour and 30, guys. I've been gas bagging, but we've been talking about some pretty good stuff, I think. We've gone through the markets, you know, generally good news, you know, make a good deal with a bad bunch of people. And that's what Trump's working on at the moment. And then maybe they're better than the other bad people. We'll see. And then you've got Bitcoin looking gorgeous with the ETFs and the digital asset treasury. The stretch looking very much like the iPhone moment for Bitcoin, vampying the traditional debt markets. And then you've got you know, Tom Lee there, just bringing the new monetary system, creating a new giant Berkshire Hathaway, as it were, of Ethereum there, and leading the way. Or both of them providing structural support and potentially increasing the price of Ethereum off the bottom, which is pretty awesome. And then you've got now Pulsechain here trying to find the bottom. But you've got the giant vision here of Richard Hart and Liberty Swap moving for the privacy theme, as well as trading, you know, and of course staking. Everything else coming up may end up sucking the supply of some of the other coins. We'll see, as well as as well as the DeFi lending. It looks exciting, and yield tokens coming from the looks of it. So awesome stuff happening. There is some shining lights on the hill, and we're excited about it. So keep a lookout for that, and of course Richard Hart with ProveX there too. All right, where we're going to go here. Will Richard Hart be pumping those coins through these privacy things into Pulsechain? That'd be fun. That'd be fun. Now, he did give us a cue last year about $10,000 ETH. Obviously, so that may affect some of the financial side of things that he can do in his chess moves, but he can do a lot of other chess moves besides that. So, and ProveX seems to be one of those. So, let's see what else he's got up his sleeve there. All right, I hope you guys enjoyed the show. Don't forget to subscribe, like, share, and hit the bell on YouTube. Also, don't forget to smash the follow on X. We're heading up towards 2,000 now. We're rebuilding the channel. My old channel was taken down illegally, is what happens on these platforms, right? And so we're rebuilding there. Smash the follow. And if you guys haven't gotten to Strategy Club, you want all the intel as I'm seeing it, and much, much more than what I talk about on the show for sure, then jump into Strategy Club there, go through Whoop Store, sign up, and you'll jump in. You'll be given a link to join the Strategy Club, private club in our Discord. So Strategy Club's just over $1 a day. You can find the links in the video description up here on X. You can hit the QR code here, and you'll join up to our Strategy Club. And if you want to join just general Discord, that's $12.50 a month, and we have a lot of resources as well as the Only Crypto helpline. We've helped hundreds of people there with a lot of issues they have had. So a big shout out, as I always say, to our community moderators and our community leader there. Wookie was in the chat earlier, so a big shout out to everybody there. I think that's it, guys. Keep a lookout. We're going to do a couple of specialty shows as well. Probably we'll talk about the Richard Hart Magic Cup ride again. We'll probably talk about, I want to do another show on all the farms on Pulsechain, sort of that next tier down from the what I'd call the blue chips, more conservative traditional DeFi, and we'll get into the farms, which is a bit more, slightly more speculative, but offering high yields in return. And so we might have a little show on all the farms on Pulsechain and how they're going. So it's kind of cool. We might enjoy that one. That'll be two good shows, I think. Looking forward to ZKX, says Valiant. As always, many thanks, Superman. Hey, you're most welcome there. Valiant says 50 shades of Rare H. Yeah, probably true there, probably true. 100% says SMO, 100% indeed. Valiant says I still trust Jacob to get it right. Yeah. I hope that he. I know he's got up against the market, and I get that. So, and he's waiting for the Signum. But I think once he gets there, I hope he makes a big deal of it. I hope he gets out and creates some strong things happening there. He's got three things. He's got the Mafia game. He's got on-chain bet coming. And he's got, of course, what we consider the flagship PUSD ALGO, which I think could be a real winner there. All right, and then a bit of marketing too. Bit of marketing. It might go a long way. All right, hope you guys enjoyed it. Once again, catch you guys tomorrow. Onwards and upwards, as we say. We got a huge, it's funny, every time I finish the show, we got the huge audience watching, and it's a terrible time to finish. But hey, look, you guys, we're getting there. Yeah. I was going to look at one more thing. Should we do it just quickly while I'm here, since I'm gas bagging anyway? Let's go have a look at, let's go look at the pulse price, because I want to look at that. And so let's pull that in, and we're going to go to wrap pulse, and I just want to see where the bottom is here on this chart. So we'll quickly look at this. Just as a final thing, since I'm already over time already. I'm already over time. So AM 15 is kind of the max I try to do. So let's see. Okay, so we've got the daily chart here. We've got the 21 moving average, which is a trader's review. We have our own TA guru in Discord, and Brennan, and he loves the 21 moving average here. RSI is down at 37, so we're not fully oversold. We're below the 21 moving average, not a great sign. Look how long we were below it here, coming down on the downtrend on the daily. Let's look at the weekly, which is even a longer time frame view. We can see the candles there, well below the 21 moving average. Look at that. Just if you're holding Pulsechain, it's been a terrible ride, right? Let's be frank. I mean, you've lost the money value's gone down a lot. If you haven't sold, it's unrealized losses. Remember that. If you've sold, then you've realized the loss. Now the ratio, of course, is is something that we're going to hopefully get flicked around as well. We're definitely down the bottom here. Look at this near the oversold period on the weekly. Very good clue here that we could recover. Look at the last time we were here back in June 24, and we had the recovery there. Last time we tapped here, recovery here. So this does very suggestive that we'll get the same recovery. We've seen it time and time again there. Hopefully it will be on a reversal, because at the moment that's been on a downtrend. but hopefully we'll get the reversal trend and we'll really start to move higher. Where do we have to hit to start moving higher, guys? 1700. That's very clear in the chart, right? 1700 US dollars. That's the price that you know, hey, look, I think we could be getting the uptrend on here. The other thing we'll want to see is the weekly, right? We want to see consolidation on the weekly zone to finally find that bottom, right? We started that. We started it here. We're certainly on the bottom range here, but we want to see the weeklies. I don't know, maybe 2 months, 3 months of this. But look, the Clarity Act's coming. A lot of things can turn things around, but certainly, you know, March, April, possibly even May, we'll see. Hopefully we get a consolidation, and then we'll finally get the reversal on Pulsechain, the uptrend there. Richard Hart will be looking at these sort of things too, no doubt. So let's keep a lookout for that. But at the moment, that's where we are. We also want to get a cross of that 21 moving average there as well. I haven't got the 50 and the 200 on here, but that'd be pretty interesting. Should we put that on? I'll be making the show even longer, so I'm just tempted on that. Maybe I should do another video later on today, just on the Pulsechain chart. How about that? We might do that. Have a little break, have a little bit of lunch. So that is the chart there at the moment. So this is going to be a quick coverage. Let's go to the 4-hourly view here right now. We're still obviously below the 4-hourly view here in the short term. RSI at 40 here. So no real strength at the moment in this chart. So we could possibly tap that 8,300 again. Now, the all-time low, I think was this one here, was it? Let's have a look here. Let's go to the daily chart and look for the all-time lows. So all-time low was this one here, right? So this is back on the 17th of March. So not that long ago, right? Not that long ago. How many days ago is that? 8 days ago, so just over a week. And we got a new all-time low of 7776. So 5 zeros, 7,776 was the new all-time low. Just slightly lower than the one we had on the 23rd, and that was 7,800, right? So we've been talking about that. So we actually have a slightly new lower all-time high, and that last one was 30 days ago. Our recent all-time low was only 8 days ago. So are we going to get that bottom? Is this going to tap in here? Is this the bottom around here? That's the question, right, that everyone is asking. So I definitely think we need some consolidation. If we go back to the weekly view, need some consolidation here for a while, and then hopefully start printing the uptrend. And definitely, based on this chart, it does look like 1700 is the mark to beat there. So if we were to put a little line across this, this is kind of the golden stuff there, and we can start saying, hey, look, the bottom is in, and we're starting to get some support here. Now, obviously, we'd want that to, let me see what the drawing tool is here. I'm going to use a little path because I'm not very good at this drawing stuff, but, you know, let's say bang, we come back down, something like that, you know, and then we start zigzagging up there. So we'll see what happens in that. But that definitely seems like the horizontal confirmation there of an uptrend. Obviously, the moving average is going to be key too. Getting over the 21 moving average will probably happen a bit later after it's already gone over this horizontal. And so that's kind of what we're looking there. Maybe retest it and then game on, and then the uptrend begins, right? And hopefully it just continues on and on and on. Just like it went down, it goes back up. And we'll see. Now we will have sell periods, because anyone that's buying down here is getting large volumes, right? So you got to get rid of them, right? So they might rally up here, get rid of them, and then go up, right? That's you know, get rid of at least the ones that want to sell, not holding on for bigger X's and so on. So, you know, if anyone's buying up here, buying down here, where would that go? Everyone's going down, buying down here. You know, they're going to get a 2x. So you got to, you know, how many of those with the 2x? Some of them might want a 5x, you know, so one might 3x. So you're going to still have to sell through those. But hopefully, once you start getting the uptrend, you got more buyers coming in than sellers, and they absorb those sellers, right? Just like it goes down here. So, you know, people sell on top of each other, rallies back up, and so forth. So you can see we have had some pretty decent rallies here on the weekly. You know, I mean, that there was almost a 2x back there. You know, this one here was, you know, a 2.5x. So yeah, a 3 out of 3x, a 2.5x. This one here was a higher low. This was teasing us, right? This was teasing us here. This one here was the one that really was a trap. It was a trap. What's that Star Wars thing? A trap with the big fiction eyes guy. That was a 2.5x as well, you know, in 49 days. So interesting time frame too. Yeah, I mean, let's have a look at the time frame there. Like this one way back in 24. This was kind of the relief rally there. That was was it a 4x, 300% in 2 months? So it took 2 months. This one here, let's argue, I have a little retrace, but let's argue that was 3 months. So 3 months seems to be pretty popular, doesn't it? It was a 2.7x. Let's just ignore the down chart there and have a look at that. That was 140, but this one here was 56, so 2 months. So 2-3 month time frame, that's possibly what we could be looking at. Obviously with the Clarity Act could change things up a little bit, make it on the shorter time frame. But if we were to go back here, 2 months, and this should be on the short time frame here. 2 months could be the time frame that we have. So a nice little rally, but we really want to break that 1700 and start to get the uptrend. And so we zigzag the way back up, and we get the FOMO on the way back up, just like we saw in the previous big FOMO, sell back down, next parabolic, next FOMO, but we need the mega trend to be FOMO, right? So mega downtrend, we need a mega uptrend. Now, remember, we did get rid of the RSI, we did get rid of the SEC. This is when we defeated it back here, and that's why we got this good news here, right? We had defeated the SEC back here on the 7th, this week here, so right back here, back there we defeated the SEC, and so we got a nice little run on that. So bottoms in, Clarity Act comes in, bullish news. All the Bitcoin ETFs, all the Ethereum ETFs are flooding all this money into the crypto. They're basically pumping your bags, and then Richard, of course, the Magic Upride gets more valuable as ETH goes up. That's another win. So we're getting the general liquidity win, and then hopefully circulation and the Pulsechain to some degree, and then of course also we get the Richard Hart Magic Upride getting back up there as well. So that is the longer term view, as well as all the bullish market things in place. So let's see where we go. The RSI definitely looking supportive as well for these an uptrend coming at some stage. So massive volumes right now, and you buy when there's fear, right? You buy low, you buy when there's fear, volatility, and then mega upside there. All right. That is kind of the play right now, and we've got, like I say, what I say, 14, 15 quality projects that are what might call blue chip, then maybe 8, next 8 or 9 or 10, and the next level below that, and then of course you get far riskier once you go past those top 25. You're kind of getting a much riskier protocols on the old Pulsechain. But we've got a lot of cool projects potentially coming as well. Maybe another 10 really good projects coming down the line. So could be good times. Could be good times. Maybe 20 good protocols. But what are the big ones, right? What are the big ones? So maybe possibly 5 to 10. Let's say, let's say within the next 6 months. Let's say the next 6 months. But there's devs doing new things all the time, and new opportunities, of course, coming through. So we'll keep a lookout for that. Man, I've really gone on. An hour and 45. I think we got to finish there for definitely this time. Definitely got to finish there. I'll take that last comment. As always, many thanks, Superman. Thanks, Valiant. And I hope you guys enjoy it. Now in 45 minutes. I hope you guys enjoy it. Everybody to subscribe, like, share, hit the follow, and I'll catch you on the next show. Take care, and bye for now.